Hello fellow crafters, this is knitwhim and I am your host on knitwhim Diaries. A thought occurred to me today. It's starting to get a little chilly here in Georgia and I've started to pull out some of my fall wear. And I noticed a problem. I have these really adorable mittens that I absolutely love. I think they're just swell, but they only work well when you're in short sleeves or quarter-length sweaters. Now honestly, it doesn't get that cold here in Georgia. So if it's warm enough to be wearing short sleeves, it's probably too warm to be wearing mittens of this type. So by the time it gets cold enough where I would want to be wearing mittens, I'm also wearing a long sleeve sweater. At which point, these mittens look kind of dumb, in my opinion. Like, the beauty of these mittens is in, their length. Now they just look like normal gloves. So what do you think about this? Leave your thoughts in the comments on YouTube or come to my group on Ravelry, knitwhim Diaries, and tell me what you think. Hello and welcome to knitwhim Diaries. Today is October 20th and I'm your host knitwhim. Thank you new viewers for checking me out and returning viewers for sticking with it. I love you guys. Okay, so today, still messing around with the lighting on the camera. I've got this mega glare on my glasses apparently. Oh, now I can't see anything. Never mind. So I have a finished object today. I've been in baby knitting mode all month and I finished a baby sweater. This is the Binnock sweater and it's the first of many apparently that I will be making. It's so cute! This is Dream in Color Starry. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but it's atomic blue with silver sparkles. So I really enjoyed this pattern. It's pretty easy. It's a free pattern, bottom up, knit in the round until you get to the armpits, and then you divide and do short row shaping. You sew the shoulders together at top, pick up and knit the sleeves in the round, and then, so when I read the pattern initially, I've got these cute little silver buttons. It just said that the buttons were decorative, sewn on after the fact. So that's what I did. They're decorative buttons. But then when I read it again, there's actually an option to put buttonholes in and have them be not decorative. So this should still be able to fit over the baby's head. The neck hole is pretty big. But so I'm knitting another one, and that one I'm going to experiment and try the buttonholes out and sort of see what the difference is. So for works in progress, I am knitting a Binnock sweater. This is also Dream in Color, but this is the non-glittery kind, so this is Dream in Color Smushy. Also, sock weight. Holy crap, am I like in a row? Yeah, so in this one, I've already knit the ribbing and I've divided to do the shoulders. So this is going to be a front or back. They're identical, so it doesn't really matter. And then you can see how I've got the other stitches just chilling on some scrap yarn. So it's pretty cool. I've started doing the ribbing and then I will do the shaping for the shoulders, and that's where the buttonhole will go in the shaping part. So I'm pretty happy with this. This colorway is Emerald Darkness, but knit up it looks more like Toad. It looks like a frog. So I'm pretty excited about that. I've been knitting this pretty much exclusively at work. I work 10-hour shift at night, so there's not a whole lot going on. I have a lot of time to knit. I really enjoy that part of it. Otherwise, I hate working a night shift. It screws up your actual life outside of work. Fortunately, I will be switching to days November 5th. So less knitting potentially, but happier person. Yay! So the other work in progress, Mando Bug from the Mando Bug Crafts podcast is doing a knit with your hands spun along, and I cast on the Laurel hat by Brooklyn Tweed, and I forgot that his pattern is too big for my head. Pattern calls for you to cast on 120 stitches, and I've knit this pattern twice before, and I know that that's too many, but I cast on 120 anyway and had to frog. So then I cast it on 100 stitches, and this is where I'm at with my new cast on. I realized last night that I twisted these stitches in the round, and so I'm going to have to frog it again. This yarn just does not want to be this hat. I'm going to frog it and cast on again, but if there's some problem that I notice with the cast on, I'm going to just give up and knit something else, because hello, you can only cast on 100 stitches in the round so many times. And I'm not even convinced that this yarn is a good match for this pattern, because it's kind of hairy, and I'm not sure about the stitch definition. I've only done a very, very little bit of ribbing, so it's always possible this stitch definition would improve with time, but no way to know, so I'll just have to keep on keeping on and see. But yeah, I'm not sure cables are the best characteristic for this yarn, but we're going to keep going, and I have enough to do something else in addition to this hat with this yarn. This was like 8 ounces or something ridiculous that I sped up. So the other work in progress that I have is crochet. It's been a while since I've done any crochet, and I don't know if you guys remember, but last year around this time I participated in Nerd Wars, and my dissertation project was going to be a blanket using the Something Pretty Granny Square by Millie Makes. And my goal was to do 50 squares, which I made for my dissertation. However, it was way too small for an actual blanket. I decided that I wanted it to be massive after the fact, and so now my goal is 209 squares, because I'm crazy. And I haven't made a whole lot of progress since then, but I started up again. So I feel like I'm going to just keep updating you every episode on my progress. So I did 4 squares since we last spoke. Oh, the glare. Okay, so here's 1, and most of them are the same color. 2. I also did these at work. They're a nice diversion from all that stockinette stitch. 3. Plus I totally taught one of my coworkers how to do them too, which is fun. And then number 4 is a different color. Woohoo! Oh my god. Camera does not like the red. 4. So this brings my count of finished squares to 54 out of 209. Ta-da! So that's definitely work in progress, if I've ever heard of one. I will keep you updated. And, oh, where's back? I'm keeping all of my in progress stuff in my Halloween bag. Woo-hoo! That Mandabug made for me last Halloween. And I even have my Halloween themed Notions container in it. I am all ready for the Halloween this year, except not really. Woohoo! So yeah, works in progress. So I was hoping to cast on a few other things this week. I didn't quite make it, but I will just give you a sneak preview of one of the things I'm going to cast on. I've got this orange acrylic. I wonder what it could be for. I wonder who it could be for. I don't know. It's such a surprise. So this is leftover acrylic from, we did a pumpkin army crochet thing as part of a follow-up for Nerd Wars. There's like a fun game in between Nerd Wars tournaments, and we made a whole bunch of little crochet pumpkins. And so I got 2 skeins of orange, and I still have a bunch left over. So I've got plans. Actually, there's so many things I want to cast on right now. I want to cast on that, and then I have a pair of socks I want to cast on, plus the socks that I'm already working on that I haven't actually touched in a while because they're scary 2 at a time socks. They scare me. And oh, I have a lace project out of actual lace. I think it's I think the lace I have is Lorna's Laces, and it's a dark purple, and it's like 1,000+ yards or something ridiculous. And the shawl pattern I'm going to do calls for like 1,100 yards of lace weight. So any minute now I'm going to cast that on. It's been a really long time since I've knit any lace. Lace is like my favorite thing ever. I hope you guys liked the tea montage I did in my last episode. I love tea! Yeah, someone in the forums on Ravelry, knitwhim Diaries forums, commented that they tried hot tea and they didn't like it. I was just like, what? Not like hot tea? What are you talking about? That's just like my favorite thing in the world after, you know, knitting. Yeah, the hot tea that you get for like the Keurig cups and even the tea bag stuff, it's not the most flavorful stuff. That stuff is usually already stale when you buy it, which is why it doesn't taste as good as fresh loose leaf tea. But even so, I've had plenty of Keurig cup tea that I liked. You know, it wasn't amazing, but it was still drinkable. So yeah, that makes me sad. I hope that you try more types of hot tea and find some that taste good. Not that Lipton stuff that they bring out at restaurants when you ask for hot tea, because that's basically burnt water with some coloring in it. So moving on to spinning, works in progress. I actually have been doing a lot of spinning on my wheel this weekend. If you follow me on Instagram, you can find me there also as knitwhim. I've pulled out my wheel again and I'm spinning up this purple merino from Lorna's Laces, and it's actually an old project. I think it was 6 ounces and I spun half of it already and chain plied it, and it was pretty inconsistent finished yarn. Like literally I had some parts of it were fingering weight and some parts of it were worsted. It was pretty inconsistent, which is fine. It was sort of like a zen spin, you know, just no control cards, no constantly checking and monitoring and making sure it's consistent. It was really nice. I stopped it in order to do the mindful spinning spin along, and now I'm working on it again. I want to finish it, and I'm still doing just zen spinning, so I'm not trying to do anything specific. It's going to be inconsistent as well, which, I mean, since the first half was inconsistent, the best way to match it is to also be inconsistent. I'm hoping to do like a cowl or a scarf of some sort that's, you know, pretty simple and that doesn't need too much consistency, too much gauge to do. So I'm spinning that up and I'm trying to finish because I may have busted my yarn budget for the next like 3 months. First, I bought that amazing, beautiful Russian spindle from the Spanish Peacock, which was, it's just gorgeous, and I don't have it with me right now, but you'll be seeing more of it in the future. And then I stalk the Totally Twisted and Arbitrary group on Ravelry, their spinning group, and they have all sorts of spin-alongs. I've always wanted to try some of their bigger ones. They have like a spin the bin challenge, and they have like a spin a sweater challenge and stuff like that, which I just don't spin enough to do those. But they have a quarterly challenge where they feature a dyer, and then she dyes a themed fiber, and then everyone spins that same fiber. And it's a really great way, one, to find new dyers and like sort of get you out of your bubble. That's how I discovered one of my favorite dyers, Gail's Art. I love you, Gail. She's amazing. I spun Polworth for the first time because of them. I'd never bought it before, and there was a Polworth option for one of the spin-alongs. So I always like pop in to see what the colorway is for the new quarter. And I wasn't planning on participating. I have a lot of spinning going on. I'm pretty busy. Christmas is coming up, so I probably should not be spending money on myself, you know, stuff like that. But I went in there and the colorway is just, I bought two braids. The dyer is, I don't have the name written down. I believe it's 2 by hand, and the colorways that I got Superwash Merino base, and I got Antarctica, which is sort of like, it's blues and black over white, so there's still white specks in it, and it's gorgeous. And then the other one I got was New Zealand, which was all sorts of like browns. And I know that brown sounds boring to a lot of people, but it's just my thing, and it's really gorgeous, and I love it. And so I got an email saying that that shipped, or is shipping today. So I'm like trying to spin what's on my wheel right now and hopefully at least finish the singles in time for it to come later this week. And I'll probably start spinning that on the weekend. Other spinning works in progress. I've got like 3 different spindle projects going at the moment. I don't know if you remember, I'm still spinning the hand-dyed Polworth that I dyed and blended into Rolags on this. I really don't have that much left to do, but it's kind of just sitting on the back burner. I haven't really been working on it that much. Then I have the lace weight that I'm doing on the Spanish Peacock Russians, which I don't have with me right now. My stuff is kind of spread all over the place. It's not in my craft room. And then obviously I'm working on the Gourmet Stash Punis, and I'm about at the halfway point. I've got like 20 some odd Punis left, and oh no, that's not right. I think I started out with 26 Punis and I've got like 15 left or something ridiculous. So I'm really close to the halfway point, not quite there yet. And that's been fun. I'm still spinning that up. And then Amanda let me borrow some of her fiber prepping tools. I dyed a bunch of fiber that came out compacted, like really compacted. The fiber that I spun for the spin along was compacted, and it was pretty unpleasant to spin, and I didn't really know what to do about it. Amanda has combs and blending board, and so I thought, well, if I comb it out and then blend it into Rolags, it could get the compactedness out. And I blended a bunch of Rolags. I haven't spun any of them yet, so I don't know how successful I was at doing them, because they can look nice and then not draft very nice. So this is what they look like. I like the colors. Now, I dyed these colors specifically to be blended into Rolags because I thought the purple and blue combination would look pretty. And there's a bit of like a purplish burgundy brown in there as well. But to be honest, I'm still a little disappointed. These Rolags just don't look pretty. If you go on to any of the Rolag spinning threads, or if you like look at Rolags that are being prepped professionally and sold, like the ones from Yarn Shine, they are just gorgeous to look at and they look amazing. And these just kind of look, I don't know. They just look lazy and floppy, and I don't know, they don't look attractive. And I know that the most important part is whether they draft nice, which I think these will. They look like they're gonna draft okay, maybe. But I wish, I'm a perfectionist, I want them to be perfect, and they're just not right now, which makes me sad. Oh, it's a lot harder than it looks. That's all I'm saying. It's a lot harder than it looks. So I'll keep trying with that. So I don't really have anything interesting as a story to tell now that I'm done with my knitting and spinning this week. Nothing really interesting happened. I have a really important test tomorrow with the Navy, and so I went in to study yesterday, and I studied for like 4.5 hours. I'm going in today to study, and I'll probably study for another 4 or 5 hours, and then the test is tomorrow. And I've already failed it once. It's like a 4-hour test. I think my husband's lasted almost 5 hours, and it's just really grueling. I don't memorize things well, like even stuff that I like even knitting stuff, I don't retain the information. So like Kitchener stitch, I have to look that up every time I want to do like a toe or something. Like I don't have it in my head. My brain just isn't set up that way. I don't know how to memorize things long term. And this whole test is like memorizing like a thick stack of information and then being able to spit it out. And it's just not my strong suit. I'm actually making myself sick, like dreading it. Like I'm just, like stomach upset and like just problems and just feeling like really like crap. And I mean, I did have a flu shot, so it could be the flu shot despite the warning on the label that says you absolutely cannot get the flu from this shot. And I got the mist, which I think is actually worse than the shot, like the side effects. But that could be it. But honestly, I think it's just me dreading this test is making me physically ill. So there's that. That's not very much fun. I had like a really good day yesterday though. Nothing really special happened, just, we did errands with my husband and played video games. Well, he played video games and I spun, and a friend came over and we played nerdy card games, which is always good, nerdy card games. I even can't remember what the name of the card game was, but it was awesome. It was awesome. It's one of those box sets with like special cards with like heroes and villains, and they do all sorts of weird things. It was great. I love it. I did really well. I was pretty proud of myself. But yeah, nothing much else going on right now. So I'm going to end here. I hope that you have a good week or two until I see you again. Happy crafting, and thanks for watching.